interestingly, and I don't know whether this is, something that can be done or not. We've been mulling this over with with a few individuals kind of across the globe and discussing exactly what you're saying. And one of the things that we've been kind of just talking about is, the doctors that have been going from Canada now, I think the fourth or fifth time, and, doing the working in the military hospital in Kyiv and doing all the amazing work. We saw that documentary. We were sitting there just bawling to see those, the emotions that go into when people are really genuinely there to help out. We were thinking of, what if there was some kind of a system of, sending psychiatrists and people who work with children and people who work in social services on those kinds of, activities, basically educating it, because in reality, you can't just go in there and say, we're going to revamp the system of orphanages and everything, how it works. And, it's going to now be perfect. It's through the process of learning what's best out there and how can you apply to whatever you're doing. So maybe those individuals who have been through the better experiences of, dealing with kids and social services and orphanages can go and educate those individuals who have been stuck in this kind of unilateral system that doesn't change, and just go in there and say, look, this is what we learned and this is how you can apply it. And then maybe down the road, those 16 orphanages or whatever it is in specific regions can form their own groups, and then they can work together, and then they can decide of, maybe it's something works for you, something works for me. Maybe it's actually the infrastructure that needs to be changed that will make things better. Maybe we'll need to install an elevator because, kids can't get down the stairs if they're in a wheelchair. Those are the things that really need to be put to question. It's not about, somebody will send an inspector and, someone in the orphanage will know that the inspector is coming, so everything will be nice and peachy and amazing. The inspector will leave and then everything will return back to normal. It's really, I think, that instigator of change. And so we've been discussing that maybe that's an avenue to explore. And we've been kind of, exploring it from what can we do. What's his title? Mykоla Kuleba. He is the kind of the honorary
Уповноважений прав дитини на Україні, so I'm not sure how.
Yeah, so he's kind of responsible for kids' rights in Ukraine, who's been kind of indicted by the president, and so he's really taken on some of those initiatives. So I think you need more individuals.
And he is trying to reform the system, just the orphanage system, because it is a failing old system back from USSR that's no longer working. Because it's spitting out thousands of kids every year that are socially incapable of integrating because they've never seen society, because they have been cooped up in orphanages. So he is trying to reform it. Reforms take really long time. It doesn't happen overnight. You can't just say, hey, no more orphanages now, let's find foster families for thousands of kids. It doesn't work like that, but he is really trying. I think is just providing him with maybe some help from Canada with different options and people who have education in that area who can provide ideas of how we can reform the system. That it's not just Ukrainians reforming it, but people outside of Ukraine who have tried the foster system, who know, what's good and what's bad about Canadian foster system, that they can help out Ukraine with just reforming their system for orphanages. I think if we can do that, that would be great.